Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right. Transfer portal's about to open, and it's going to get wild. Yep, and it's time for Josh Heupel to go shopping, okay? That's just the way it is. He needs to get out there and get some players that he wants. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to really get into it. Here's the thing about the Vols. What they've done this year is absolutely outstanding. They have done it with smoke and mirrors on the defense, duct tape, anything you can think of. We have been going up against teams, many teams that have a lot more talent than we do, but because we have a coach who can really scheme up an offense that becomes a nightmare for a lot of teams.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
And, of course, we had Hendon Hooker as well. He can play against teams with a lot more talent than he has. That's just a fact. And that's the only way you can explain a 10-2 season given the circumstances. Because when he came in, 30 guys left. And many of them were high 4-stars. One of them was a 5-star. I mean, our starting linebackers, both of them. One went to Alabama, one went to Michigan State. They both started. We had a 5-star offensive lineman, went to Oklahoma. A starting running back who was great, went to Oklahoma. Another starting running back, our second one, that went to North Carolina, and all 5 of them became starters immediately and were highly effective. So we were in dire straits, not the band. But Josh managed to pull in some decent players and got the job done at an incredible level. And he wound up with like the 21st best recruiting class, which he had like 2 weeks to put it together, which was amazing. But now he's had a full year. He's going to have a top 10 class in recruiting, and he's got a chance to go out and sell a program that's very easy to sell. He can sit down and talk to these transfers and say, look, you know, if you can win championships here, you just saw what we did, 10-2 in the SEC, not some easy conference. ACC, I'm looking in your direction. Anyway, so we've done some great things this year, and he's got a lot to sell. Now let's see what's going on in the transfer portal. And realize the transfer portal doesn't open until December 5th. But look at these stories. Michigan QB transfer. He's very good, by the way. Alabama offensive lineman, high 4-star, available. Another quarterback available. A Kentucky wide receiver. All kinds of good players. There's an almost 5-star running back at Texas A&M that's announced. He's going to be in the portal, and he was one of those real high recruits. And then on top of that, you've got a wide receiver that was outstanding for Missouri that's entered the transfer portal, and he's the number 3 ranked wide receiver in the SEC as far as number of catches. So there's going to be all kinds of goodies out there for Josh Heupel to pick up. Now, here's the tough part about the transfer portal. Not only is he going to have some tough conversations with some guys, he might have to invite a few into the transfer portal. And what I mean by that is very simple. There are some guys on that team that are never going to play, okay? They're not going to start anyway. And that's really not fair to them. As somebody that played Division I sports, and I played on the golf team at UT, and I was in a tough spot. I was either 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th a lot of the times. And they only take the top 5 to travel as far as getting to play. And if you're not in the top 5, you don't get to play at all. And I was always on that edge constantly. Now, I wasn't going to transfer or go anywhere because I love the Vols. It didn't matter to me. But if I was a guy that wanted to play, and that's why you go to college, is to tee it up, is to play. I could see somebody transferring to a smaller school and being much happier. And I'll just tell a little story, and I'll make it quick. I had missed a tournament. I finished outside the top 5, and our head coach decided to send the next 5 guys to a small college tournament in Middle Tennessee. And there were teams there like MTSU and Western Kentucky and all down the line. I think it was the OVC. So I had missed out on the top 5, so I go there and I play in that tournament. And there was about 14, 15 teams, maybe 100 players or something like that. And they were all small college players. Well, while I wasn't able to qualify that week to finish in the top 5 for UT, I actually won that tournament and was the medalist.
How's bragging camp going?
And that's the difference between some of the small schools and the big schools. You can be a guy who literally can't even get on the field. But then you can go to a small school and be really good. But anyway, that's the truth. And if you're not into your school, if you're not like, oh my gosh, you're not, when they cut you, you don't bleed orange and you're not going to get to play, you should transfer. And Josh Heupel's going to have that conversation with some of these guys and say, look, you need to go somewhere where you can play, and it's not going to happen here for you. And, do the right thing by them, and also open up some spots, because the Vols is a very attractive place to come to, especially right now with Josh Heupel as the coach. And we need some players. We need another offensive lineman. We could use another running back. We could use another linebacker. We're going to need a wide receiver or two. I could see all those being spots we need, because, look, Jalen Hyatt's probably going to go to the NFL. I mean, I would. You can go in the first round, which he probably will. We know Cedric Tillman's going to the NFL. And we're going to have a lot of players that are going to play on Sundays. That's just a fact. So we're going to need to pick up some guys along with this tremendous recruiting class we've got coming in. And look, it's great to have a top 10 recruiting class, have 3 top 10 edge rushers, some great defensive backs, wide receivers. I mean, we've got a lot of really good players coming in, but they're going to be freshmen. And freshmen rarely come on board and just, boom, take off. So we're going to need some guys that are ready to go, that are maybe a graduate, senior, or whatever, and have like 1 year of eligibility left. And it's time to go shopping, big time, for Josh Heupel.
I have to go shopping now.
So this was just a little quick update about the portal and how amazing it's probably going to be for us. I think we're going to pick up several really good quality players that are going to help us next year. And if I was Josh Heupel, I'd be looking hard through who's available, and I would pick up some guys that I need. And I would have that conversation with the guys that really, they need to play. They're good enough to play. It's just they're not going to be able to play in Knoxville. We're getting too good. And that's the conversation. Look, we're just getting too good. Well, that's not going to go over well either. It's no fun to tell somebody they're not going to get to play. But it needs to be done. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols, and I will cover the transfer portal heavily. And I will get involved in names and all of that. But right now, I mean, I'm just letting you know, it's getting ready to get wild. The wild, wild west. And there's NIL money involved and everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, those Texas A&M players that aren't getting to play after a 4-8 season or whatever, would they won 5 games or something, they're going to be looking to move. And there's a place for you right here in Knoxville, especially you 5 stars. But anyway, I hope you did like the content. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.